The time of terrorism in Peru lasted about 12 years, where the country was suffering of malicious and murderous acts conducted by two terrorist groups, the Shining Path and the MRTA. These groups acted in response to bad social politics and extreme poverty generated by the bad governing of the government, and tried to get to the political power by conducting terrorist acts. The Shining Path was a Maoist radical group who attempted to take control over the population by putting bombs in public places or killing innocents. The MRTA group was based on the capital and targeted the upper class by taking over events and conducting abductions. During this time, the country was an
No
insecure
fue el
place to
único.
be.
El coche
There
bomba
was a lot
colocado
of
frente a la
political
embajada de los Estados
instability and
Unidos en Puerto
terrible
Rico
economic
fue una de
conditions.
las 100.
There was a constant war between the government and the terrorist groups, and the population was caught between that. The people who lived during this time were exposed to murders, threats, bombs, and worst of all, an uncertain future. This period of time affected many who survived it and most probably will remember it for the rest of their lives. About
Esa
20
noche,
years have
un
passed
coche bomba
since
que
these
traía consigo 5 kilos de
events,
dinamita
and
y
even though those
150 kilos de
survivors
AMPO
live
despertó de su letargo
their
a la
happy,
subversión,
normal lives,
a la
they are
policía
still
y
affected
sobre todo
by what
a
they
los
went through
niños.
during that time and have vivid memories. In this project,
Es
I wanted to
cierto que ese
explore
fue un
how
ataque
memory and
aislado,
perspective play an important role in how memorable an event or series of events are remembered, and how each person reacted to having to talk about these memories.
In the 70s, Peru went under a series of bad policies, economic policies, that submerged Peru in its deepest economic crisis ever.
Aunque el terrorismo comienza en los Andes, creando pánico y dolor entre sus pobladores, lograron llegar a Lima, la capital, cometiendo actos terroristas como el asesinato del fiscal de la Nación, volando un edificio completo en la calle Tarata de Miraflores, inutilizando torres de transmisión eléctrica y poniendo bombas en carros y lugares públicos. Vivíamos con terror todos, ricos y pobres.
Terrorism was the worst time of my life, but at the same time, it was a good time for me. I was in my early 20s, just starting my life. I was working in a bank. I had recently graduated from college. Started in the mountains, far away from the city. We just heard that things were happening, but it was like so far away, so nobody did anything. And then it came to the capital.
Terrorism left a big scar in everybody in Peru. We all were witness of insane murderous attacks in the forms of explosive cars. They would go into cities as well, mainly with very powerful explosives. It was an everyday case where we see transmission lines destroyed, so they would go after the source of energy. So we would have blackouts every time. An anecdote. I can remember my grandmother's house was very close to a site that was attacked, and her house was shattered into pieces. She was in there. Luckily she was not harmed, but I remember going at midnight to her house to rescue her.
I was working in a bank, as I said, and one night a bomb exploded outside a car with a bomb exploded outside the bank. It was a Friday night, so we just went to work on Monday, and everything was upside down. No, my desk, everything was full of dust, and I remember the phone was ringing in my desk. No, so I just picked it up, and it was a bank from overseas asking for a transfer or I don't know, something else. No, like as if nothing had happened. It was a bank from Miami, and I was like, oh my God, no. Here is a disaster, and there nothing has happened. They are just working as a usual Monday morning, no?
So to us that my wife, my current wife, she was working in a bank, and luckily for us, the bank was the building where the bank worked was totally destroyed. Luckily, it was a Saturday where very few people were in the car in the building, and they were all killed, of course. It was a very sad times.
One day we heard on the TV or on the radio that a plane had to make an emergency landing in Arequipa, the town where we lived. The airport was not prepared to receive planes at night because of the absence of lights in the landing track, and people were asked to collaborate and go with their cars to illuminate the tracks. Even though at that time it was crazy dangerous to go out at night because of the curfew, most people from the town didn't think twice to go out and help. It was so beautiful to see many people there willing to help others in need during such a hard times. Inspiring, right?
And security. Due to that insecurity, the government, a series of governments declared a state of emergency. The country in the state of emergency and how do you call it? Curfew, and we had curfew at nights. So as a young citizen in my early 20s, we weren't allowed to go out at night until later than 1 o'clock, and we would have the risk of being shot by either, if you broke curfew, you would had the risk of getting shot either by a terrorist or a police or other militaries.
I remember I didn't know what road to take to go to work because I said, well, last week a bomb exploded on this avenue. Maybe this one won't explode a bomb. I had to think about it, and we were really scared, but we just stayed there and tried to do our best, help whenever a bomb exploded. We heard it, and then we started looking where it has been, if we could go to help.
There were terrible times. They have marked my life forever. Sorry. Kidnaps. The terrorists decided to broaden their actions, not only killing but also kidnapping. Personal friends were kidnapped and kept in captivity for months at a time. Even one close friends of ours were also killed for that.
Then it stopped with the new government that came, and I was so relieved that and I'm so grateful now that I can live in my country, and I can live in my country, and I can go out to the streets, feeling comfortable, feeling well. I'm very grateful now.
And our pending job, of course, our pending homework to secure that forever is through education, capacitation and education. We have private and public programs of education, and responsible entrepreneurs and governments are working towards those goals of education. No, the only way to make greater income sustainable. Of course, some of that is more challenging where populations are. Peru is a very vast and big country with a geography that's very accidented, so we have to. It's challenging to go to small towns in the Andes, in the highlands, you know, with smaller populations, but we have significant advances. Significant. We still have a lot more to go, but have significant advances.